Hello everyone. Hola todos. Hope everyone's doing good today. Uh Today I'm gonna continue working on my Webpart. We'll see how far we get. Where I left off the last time, I was going to set this up to set it up to be the first parent, but I think there's another way that this can be set up, and that is in the topic selector. In the topic selector, we're gonna create a function that's called want to make sure I'm not messing up here. Hear myself in the background. Test my audio real quick. Just to make sure that my audio is okay. Yeah, looks like it's working fine. Okay, so like I was saying, I think that there's a way that we can just avoid having to load that topic as the first one every time. And to do that, we create a function that does basically the same thing every single time, and that is set parent ID to first topic. And this is going to be an arrow function, returns void. Doesn't do anything, doesn't return anything, it just does something. Set parent ID in the Webpart store. Parent ID to configuration object. And we're gonna have to bring in the configuration object. Oh, we have the sure. There we go. And so when we toggle a selected topic, I don't know. Now I'm thinking that maybe that's not a good idea. Let's give it a shot. So when we no, I'm not gonna do that. This is a bad idea. So what I was originally thinking is, since we're switching from the topic selector to the question answer, I thought that instead of having because right now what's happening is the following. I open out the page loads, and when the page loads, I go into select my topics, I go to my questions, and you can see that none of the tabs are selected. That's why I'm getting this message, which shouldn't be appearing. That's another issue that I have to fix. But nevertheless, when I click on general, there's a way that I can set this up to where it will automatically select the first item in the topics. And so what I was thinking about doing that, I was thinking we could just do it on topics, but then what happens is that when I remove this should be the new parent key. So I would have to put that function when any of these buttons are pressed. I would have to put that function when this button is pressed. I would have to put that function in this button is pressed, because the delete button obviously would move that development topic to now have general at the top. And so it becomes a very, very, very big mess right away. And so that's not a good idea. That's why I was saying that my initial thoughts of doing things this way is not ideal. So now if I go into I lost my train of thought. So now if I go into I need to change the tabs. Now which one is holding my question answer? Inspect this. What component I need to target? Question answer. So inside of question answer is where I need to put a use effect. So let me go to question answer. Go to the question answer component. And here in the question answer component, I was already kind of alluding to that. To putting the question here. I think what I need to do is right here, React.use effect, and this only runs technically when I load the component. And so what this is going to do is it's going to check if the configuration object in the topics is greater than 0, meaning there's 1, and then set the parent ID to the first topic. Let's do that. So I had my topics, go to questions. Look at that, that's working now. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted for whenever we switch from topics to questions, it would automatically have the questions set up correctly there. So anyway, that's working now. Now I can switch to development in general, no problem. The last time we tried this, everything was working, but I think the only thing that wasn't working is the delete functionality. If I try to delete this, it doesn't do anything. That's one thing that needs to be fixed. But let's take a look and see, because both of them are not working. So this is in the component question bar. So the question bar has the action section that has a delete button. So let's go look at question bar. The question bar has an action button for delete. You know, I could hear myself now. Yeah, so the question bar has an action button for delete. We'll look for that. Here we go. This is the action button for delete, and it runs on delete, which is right here. question bar is in question selector. What does handle delete do? Yeah, this is not correct. I don't know why it says handled by parent component. So what's the parent component to question selector? Is it question answer? And handle delete. That's for topic select. Looking at handle delete is handled by the parent component. So in the parent component, the question selector is question answer. Yep, right here. Do we have anything here to handle? We have a delete attachment functionality. Delete FAQ item mutation is here. There we go. Delete FAQ item. So we do have a function to delete the FAQ item, which is this. Takes the ID and it returns promise void. And question selector has handle delete, promise void. So technically, I'm not sure that this will work, but we can try it. We can basically get rid of this. And here we're gonna bring in a function called handle neat. Gonna be a function that does this. Now we have our handle delete. Handle delete. Have our errors there. Here the handle delete. Where do we have an error here? Content bar. We're not going to use content bar anymore. Delete FAQ item. Fix all that. I'm gonna keep that content bar because I think I'm gonna use it for something else later. And let's test it. So we go to topics, add our topics, we go to questions. Let's test if we can delete a question. Yes, working. We have 5 questions now. Let's go look at the back end. Should have 5 and 2. We should have 7 questions only. Here's our list. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7. So the delete functionality is working now. What I don't think is working is if I was to add it, if I add is debugging fun, I delete it here, I think there's gonna be a bug here. It's not gonna get rid of it. Yep. Now let's go see if it deleted the backend. We have 6 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6, which is correct. It did delete it from the backend, but it didn't remove it here. Why? Because in our question answer component, we don't check to see if the question is inside the current array of questions. So we need to find out, and we need to fix that. And I think the best way to do that is I'm gonna have to change the architecture around how I'm handling the questions and topics. Because right now, if you remember from yesterday, why do I? Maybe that's why. Yeah, so right now, if you remember from yesterday, I created a function, I believe it was in question selector, that rolled up the setter for both setting the parent ID and the index. And that's not the way to do things. So let's change that architecture, although use IDs. What I used was what it was that I used. I know what I did. So inside of question answer, yesterday what I did was I added a function called set parent and index. Find it right here. And the reason I did that is because we were basically using the index to be able to make modifications to the question within the topic. So in order to target the right topic, we had to use the right index. So I don't know if I should change that or not. I'm still debating it. Because right now everything's working. What is that? That, or am I just seeing weirdest thing? Let me refresh that. Weird. At our topics, at our questions. That was weird. Very weird behavior. Yeah, so I also don't like that. If you notice, for a brief moment, when I go to topics and I add the topics and I go to question answer, I see that no questions found. I don't know why that happening. Let me run it slower. So if I refresh it, When I load my topics, I add the topics. Let's slow it, let's throttle it so you can see. When I go to Q&A, it loads the content, the loader. Oh, get rid of this. This is loading questions. Okay, so it's a loader that's causing the issue. Let's go look. Loading questions. This right here. I think we can get rid of this. Yeah, let's get rid of this. That. Oh. Take off the throttle. Go to topics. We add our topics. We can add the throttle back. It's loading the next component. No questions available under this topic. Where is that at? No questions available on the topic is what's currently being. I wonder if I even have to, instead of doing this, let's do the double ampersand and get rid of the else clause here. And let's try to load it this way. No throttling. We add our topics. Throttle it again. Loading. There we go. It's a little slow to load. And I don't like the, I mean, that this is going to be fixed by adding a loading state. Obviously, the way that runs, I don't like it. We got to be a little bit more professional with our work. We add topics. There's our questions. What I mean by professional with the work is, let me show you. When you have a product, you don't want, look what, if I throttle it, not even if I throttle it, but just pay close attention to what happens to the page when I switch to a different component. You see that? It kind of flashes like an accordion, it collapses, and then it loads back up. That doesn't look clean. That doesn't look professional. That doesn't look good. So that's something that obviously needs to be fixed. And then also another thing that needs to be fixed, you notice that when I hover, the arrows are gone. So on this one, this button, this one has an on hover. That. So because it has that on hover, see that this is the background color change. But the color, I thought the color would fix this. Because on hover, taken off. That doesn't look correct. It looks off. Excuse me. And I think I know why. So this add all topics button, this right here, has a called transfer button. So we look at the topic selector styles. I'm gonna put it side by side with, so this transfer button, where is it? Here we go, transfer button, hover. It's changing the theme and the color to white. But for some reason, that's not working. Try something different. So there's a styles method. I think that there are different options. Root hovered. Let's use this one. And we'll use background color and change it to this. And then color, change it to this. And then let's get rid of this hover effect. And let's see if this fixes our issue. So we go to topics. Well, now it's not doing anything. Hover. Why? Let me get rid of this style. Yeah, it's not working. If I get rid of the styles altogether, what happens? Topics. I wonder if I just change. Obviously this is ideal, but let me just try it out. Okay, so that does work. You can see, you can still see the icon barely, but I'm not entirely sure what is happening here. Because it looks like a red color on there. Let's add hover to it. RGB 164 38 4. But um I'm not very that's not gonna. I don't even know why I'm still missing that. There's got to be something else. Let's see what we can figure out the other way. So button over the other way. Looks like that. Maybe I need to change font weight. Sure. The color is really the only thing that's causing the problem. And the color is static, so actually we could actually use that to our advantage. Let's just comment out this one line. And then here we can use styles, root, covered. We can use color to be white. Or what is white? All F's. Yes, let's see. Button. So you can see the color changing. What can I do to make it more? We add some filters. That might be able to work. But I'm really wondering why. You can clearly see that this is not changing. The color is not changing. Let's go look at the documentation. In the documentation for the icons. How to change fluent icon. I'm literally doing that and it's not changing. So I have the, oh, but this is the action button. Going UI, action button, icon color. Not that it should be different, but you never know. Color. Let me just make it obvious. Maybe it's just not obvious. Topic. Component. Add button. There's hover. And it's still saying color white. There. I didn't have that saved. Button. Hover. There we go. You can see that it's color red. Let me change this background color. Be a little more transparent. It doesn't look red. Even though it technically says that the color is red, it's not red. Um, I'm honestly at a loss as to why this wouldn't be working. If I take this off, I think that's gonna take precedent over it. Button. Hover. This should be changing and it's not. It's almost like I'm not even able to touch that button. Maybe it's this what I need to work on. This double. I think this is what I need to change. Yep, that's what it is. So I need to target the icon itself, not the button. And this is what the problem is here. So this we can get rid of. And then here we need to actually target the icon hover. Interesting. And now you learn something new every day. And we don't do this because this obviously we already tested earlier, it did not work. We're just gonna set it static to white. Now That works. Perfect. Man, that's troubleshooting. Styling. I hate styling, but what it is. Now we can just copy this same style from this action button down to this action button. We just basically paste it here, and then this transfer button, I think I already removed the other thing. So now it should look good. Go to topics. You can see the hovering working correctly. So all good things, it's working now. Perfect. Now we need to do the same thing for the questions. Oh, it looks like that's fine. How come this is working, but it wasn't working on the other one? Weird. Huh. Very interesting. Okay. So anyway, that's all fixed. Let me refresh again. Okay, and so now when we load topics, we need to change this a little bit. What we need to change is that whole collapsing and expanding scenario. That's the next thing we need to troubleshoot. So let me throttle it so you can see what I'm talking about. The reason it's doing that is because inside of our component tree, we have everything running through default layout. And basically what's happening is when we switch from instruction to topics, it's running suspense, and what's happening, it's running generic loader. We technically can remove that. So we have two options to fix it. We can remove the generic loader and have just the component immediately appear even though the data is not there, and then have it set up to where, so right now this is what's happening. You see this loading thing, and then everything kind of collapses, and then once the data is there that the system needs, then it kind of expands. We don't want that. We don't want that to work that way. We need to make it so that when you switch to topics, it loads the boxes, everything fine, and only the topic section should be what's loading. And in order to do that is we need to get rid of this suspend functionality from here. So let's test that. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of that. And then we're going to get rid of, I'm going to comment out this generic loader. All right, so now the generic load, let's take off the throttle so we don't have to wait forever. All right, so instruction loaded. Now when I put it into 3G or throttling, it looks like the entire component section is gone now. Why is that? Because it looks like our navigation completely disappears. Did you see that? When I loaded, I'm gonna take up the throttle. And so look at our navigation, instruction, topics, Q&A. That should stay where it's at. It shouldn't change. When I put it to 3G, when I set it to 3G, it is disappearing. See, it's gone. So I do need the suspense there. I think I know why I need the suspense there. I need the suspense there because we're using lazy to load stuff. I think what we're gonna have to do is we need to change one thing real quick. So let me take off the throttle. And now this shouldn't disappear if I put the throttling back on. See, it stays, and then this sets to loading. We need since both of these are kind of the same, we need to change a couple of things. I'm gonna leave it throttle so we can see how it starts to load. You can see it loads the steps, then it loads instructions, and then it loads this. Then when we switch over to topics, it does that loading scenario again. But we need to change this. There's also an inconsistency. Do you see it already? There's an inconsistency between this. You see this little bar? These look the same. But then look at this. This manage topics doesn't look the same. Doesn't make it look very professional. So we need to make sure that when we build things, we try to make things look as professional as possible. I'm just testing the loading of the instructions. I want to see what that looks like. Okay. So we need to create a component that shows that title section in a shimmer component. And then we need to create shimmer components for the instructions. Then we'll also need to create shimmer. What I mean by shimmer components is this. So we go to controls. I'm talking about this. If you ever use an application, like even if you use YouTube, for example, one of the things that you'll notice when the application is loading, let me see if I can get it to show the video section. Let's just go home here. I don't know if really hard. Let's throttle it so you can see. You can kind of see it. I'm throttling it to 3G. And you see how it loads like the little boxes in the circle where the icon is for the YouTube channel. We need to do the same thing using this. So basically when it loads, it'll load something in place so that way you don't have that collapsing effect, which is what we're seeing right now. So let's start by creating our shimmer component for our title, and then we can go from there. So to do that, Let's go into our solution. We can close this style. We should have a folder called loading. Here we go, loading components. Create a new folder in here called shimmer components. And inside of shimmer components, we're going to create a new file. It's going to be called title shimmer. This is going to be an arrow component. Import all as React. And this is going to be a functional component. And it is going to be called title shimmer. And then in the title shimmer, let's go to the documentation. Right here. We're going to import shimmer element type. We can actually just try to import this whole line, and we'll only use obviously one. And we're going to import this from, we don't need to. So shimmer and shimmer element type, shimmer element. Okay. So now we're going to create React fragment, and then inside the React fragment, we're going to create a couple of divs because this is going to be mirroring our title component, this title section. Okay, so we look at the title section, we have the main title section, and then we have the title area. So let's create a couple of divs to mirror what that title effect would look like. So div last name, we're gonna call this I think we need to create a style for this. So create a new file, title shimmer module. Okay, and inside the title shimmer, we're gonna have, for now we're just gonna put placeholders. So title area, in title area we're just gonna put display text for now. And then we're also gonna have title area and the actual shimmer component. Because right now we have an H1, so we need a placeholder for that. So we're going to import styles from there. This is going to give us an error because this is not yet built. Let's go ahead and build this. While that's running, and just continue. So this is going to have our div for the actual title area, and then we're going to have a div for the H1. So we're going to have a property called H1 shimmer. And we can just put some, just let Copilot put something for now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. The point of it is we're trying to just build that one style component so that way we can import it and start using it. What it has in it right now is not relevant. It's not important. So then we have a div for the import styles.title area. And then here is going to have class name styles dot one shimmer. Again. All right, so then that's going to be the H1 shimmer. And then here we're going to have our first shimmer element. So shimmer, and then we're going to use shimmer elements. And inside of shimmer element, we're gonna use type side or shimmer elements. Go back to the document. You use shimmer element type and you tell it basically what kind of element it's gonna be and how the dimensions, what the dimensions are gonna be. You're gonna have type, but because it's elements, you gotta put it in an array. And so it's gonna have a type, gonna be shimmer element type. Gonna use line. Excuse me. And the height gonna be, let's just say 40 for now. And the width, just say 650 for now. Okay. All right. What am I here? Okay, so then we can close our shimmer. And then that's gonna be on the H1, which is this right here. And then what we need is the title area to basically mirror what we have in the title section. So let's do that next. So title section. So it looks like the width of the title is 600. So let's change this to 600. And then what does the title look like? We have title section. I don't need this. Let's test what this will look like. So we just added this. And so just out of curiosity, let's see what that looks like. Go here to default layout. And we're gonna put generic loader. Gonna get rid of generic loader and title ship. Comment out generic loader. And let's throttle to 3. Well, let's take off the throttle for now. All right, so now we go to 3G. Oh, that looks bad. That looks bad. It looks nothing like our component here. So obviously, we need to put this in a container. So let's change things a bit. Let's change it to. Let's change the generic. Let's actually keep the generic loader. Wait, do we want to keep it? No, we don't want to keep the generic loader. Let's call this I'm gonna be right back. My dog is barking. She wants to come back inside. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so go back to it. Okay, so we need to create loading states for each one of our areas. So here's our shimmer components. Let's create a new folder called shimmer shimmer loaders. I'm gonna create a new file called instructions loader. All as React. React functional. Here we're going to utilize container component. And inside the container component, we're going to have the title shimmer. And now, when we load it, we go back to default layout. And instead of using title shimmer, we're going to call this instruction loader. Okay. Let's throttle it. Let's see. Refresh the page. I'm not a styles guru, so I might have to get AI's help to help us with loading. So we go over topics. It looks a little bit better. Q&A is, so that looks sorry, I just got a weird mess. Hopefully I got a message something about my stream has an issue with YouTube, so hopefully it's still working. I don't know. So go to topics. We had our topics. We take off the throttle. Press it. Add the throttle back. We need to change this to be a little bit more like let's do this. Go to manage question and answers. So this title section right here, let's add the title shimmer. And that's going to put them side by side. We go to topics, and you can see putting the title shimmer right above the actual title. Excuse me. And so what we need to do is we need to obviously change this. This is supposed to be hmm, let's change things a bit. So we have the title area, which is the entire thing, and then the H1 shimmer, which actually should be, it should say display flex. Then we should have this by content center. Okay, so title area needs display flex, justify content. So let's do that. So title shimmer. Display flex, justify content. Sure. And then on the H1 shimmer, I believe we had that correct. But I think that the height is a little bit big. So let's change that to what? Let's change this to height 40. What's the height of this? Cross section is 39.39. 39. And what is the height of the text? 23. This should be. Now, why is it not height? Maybe I need to put max height. Section title. Copy this and area. What else do I mean, get some help. Can you assist with title? Have similar title. Somewhere I'm missing something. I think I should have told it that it needs to build an outline. That looks better, but in order to have a better definition, make it only have an outline so that the shimmer that is in place of the title text visible. We can barely see it. That's better. That's what I was talking about. But this needs to change because this shimmer line, excuse me, the title shimmer, I don't want to include this, but it took off the width. Why? I had set it to 600. Find out. Okay. That's not. Oh, styles. I had originally set it to height 40, width 600. Line height. Because the width comes second. No. Title shimmer. There's something in the title shimmer causing. No, it's not. I don't know. It's kind of weird that it's doing this. I really want it to be where it loads like in a more a little bit narrow, not take up this whole section. But for some reason it's not changing it. The only thing I can think of is title shimmer, which is this, but I don't see anything that would be affecting that with regards to the width. And when we look at the documentation, well, it looks like width is using percentages. Let's try percentage, maybe. Say 30%. Oh, and is it in quotes? Quotes. Right? So now, topics. Oh, that's not it. Is there anything with widths in here? This really shouldn't be in here. We don't need that. Don't need this either. And we don't need this. I guess we can leave it like that for now. I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. Metal shimmer. Literally 1,000. There's something that I'm doing wrong. I'm gonna leave it like that. Line, shimmer type line, height, width, correct. I think what it might be is here on the title section. Back to the title section and change this to display text. By content. Let's add that to the title section. Here, say text, justify content center. In the title, say max width. Like that. Whoa. I am at a loss as to what caused it to go away. All I did was add these two lines and then this line. Try taking that line off. Okay, that's not the issue. Of these two lines. So apparently putting display flex on title section. Yep. Okay, so maybe I just need this. Flex direction column. Fix that. Yeah, so putting flex on that is breaking it. So can't do that either. Maybe it needs to be title shimmer. Is that what I was targeting? Try title shimmer. Here. Title shimmer. Nope, that also gets rid of it. Sucks. I was hoping that we could make it look just like the title. And it's not cooperating. That'd be it. Getting rid of max width. Setting a beat. Sure. Wonder if that's the problem was. Try that. Say flex. Justify content. Nope. Issue remains. I might have to just give myself a break today. It's gonna be one of those where it's left incomplete. So essentially what I'm trying to do is build a loading state so that way when users select different areas, we have a loader in place. So I have to figure out, I have to read through the documentation really well, because this should be working. Shimmer elements. but it's not. I don't know why the shimmer effect is not working. A container. Let's try here, max. It looks like shimmer has a root here in title shimmer, and technically do styles, root, do width, say, and I should adjust the width of it. Okay, that did adjust the width. But now, what we need to do container. Bunch of oh, okay. So now I can do that on title shimmer. I think I figured it out. Title shimmer. Can do display flex and justify content. That should fix it. There we go. Now this actually can be made smaller. Maybe about a third less than what it is right now. So 400, which is what I originally had down at the bottom. There we go. Even less than that. I think maybe 300. And we can get rid of width here. Okay, that'll work. And now we have that set up. The next thing is you can get rid of it from the question answer component. You can get rid of this type here. And now, oh, we can get rid of it. Okay. So essentially what I just did was create something that is part of like a layout that's going to maintain a placeholder for things to load later. And if I throttle it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So that's gonna eventually what's gonna happen is it's going to eliminate that collapse and extension issue that we have right now. So we go to network and we throttle it. Um, so here we go to topics. You can see this is kind of loading in its place. And so what we're gonna do eventually is we're gonna use like let me click on Q&A so you can see. I go to Q&A up and my topics, and I go to Q&A. I need a loading state for these boxes, and then I need a loading state for the tabs so that it can have something in place while the actual component loads. But I'm gonna take a break and I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, the puppy be here. So we can say bye-bye. 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 That doesn't mean bite me. All right. Thanks for joining me. We'll keep on coding tomorrow. Thanks for joining me tonight. Peace. See you next time.